Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our humble monthly review and giveaway series, where today we're seeing if August is strong enough to blow us away. For those of you just now joining us, the Humble Monthly is a subscription service in which you pay $12 a month to receive a highly curated selection of 6 mystery games from the guys over at the Humble Bundle on the first Friday of that month. Of course, they've been known to throw in a few extras like a 10% store discount or some bonus games, but more on that in a bit. The really cool thing about this whole deal is, on top of 6 more games than you started with, 5% of your purchases go toward a good cause for that added feel-good warmth. Proceeds for August 2016 went toward the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which seeks to improve the lives of children with life-threatening medical conditions and bolster the morale of their community, supporting them with hope, strength, and joy by granting them wishes. If you'd like to learn more about Make-A-Wish, I've included links for Make-A-Wish America and Make-A-Wish International in the description below. Remember that 5% of each bundle is 60 cents, so if the games or the bundles just don't tickle your fancy, a single dollar would be just as appreciated and cheaper for you. Luckily, or perhaps unfortunately, it seems that there isn't much to report in regards to recent advances in the contents of the bundles. However, it should be noted that the Humble Bundle has developed several payment models in which you can save overall by paying for more bundles up front. Buying a year's worth at once, for instance, will run you $11 per month rather than $12, so technically it means you receive one bundle for free. For me, that's just too big of a gamble, but the options are definitely nice. Also, for future reference, I'm not going to be breaking down the value at each of those stages. We're sticking with the default $12 a month model. At any rate, the titles we're talking about today are part of the multiplayer of popular first-person shooter Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and its multiplayer starter pack, monster-infested dungeon crawler The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing Final Cut, charming 3D platformer brimming with nostalgia Poi, local multiplayer funtime extravaganza The Jackbox Party Pack 2, shadowy platform puzzler Planet of the Eyes, and bullet hell roguelite Starward Rogue. Remember that this video is just an overview, so you'll have to watch the relevant video if you want a more detailed opinion about any of the games, but for now, let's talk about the bundle. The first thing we look at is the price of the bundle and how that translates to the effective cost of each of the games flat out. $12 for 6 games means that each game costs about $2. This is usually a good deal regardless, but it's obviously a better deal for some than others, so essentially if you want to know if this bundle is a good investment from a purely financial standpoint, yes, it's almost impossible for it not to be. Especially when the normal price of all items included runs itself a tab of $121.94. Buying the bundle would net you $109.94 in savings. In fact, in this instance, that means that the bundle was a little over a 90% discount, which is a wet dream for people who crave a good deal. Speaking of good deals, had you simply waited for all of the titles to go on sale rather than invest in the bundle, you'd only be able to save $65.35 if you bought them at their lowest point of sale at $56.59. Instead, the bundle saves us $44.59 more than that. But this is all speaking objectively. A more subjective question to ask is if the games felt right for their prices, to which I would reply no. For me, the games are worth $74.50 at full price, which means that I feel like I saved less than I actually did because some of them felt like they were overpriced. In other words, had I bought the games at full price, I'd have felt like I'd spent exactly $47.44 too much. Seeing as the bundle still saved me $62.50 though, I can't really complain, but I'm still going to. Gameplay, which is how each of the games spoke for themselves, earns a 6.5 out of 10, with 4 of the 6 scoring higher. This means that most of the games were decent enough on their own, though it's worth noting that a couple of games in particular were the cause of it being as low as it is. So while many of them were fun to play, on average the bundle just didn't have that satisfying of an impact. It's not necessarily a disappointment, but it's not exciting either. Value, which is how well the games work together to create an overarching satisfaction of purchasing a bundle, scores even lower with a 5 out of 10, and only 3 of the 6 games scoring higher than that. There are a couple of reasons for this, with the first being that there was no strong core title for the other games to build on. The front-running game was a glorified demo, and the other big hitter was underwhelming. Combine that with a strictly local multiplayer party game and a handful of short-lived smaller titles, and you've got yourself a relatively bland consumer experience, even if the games were good. With a composite score of 5.75 out of 10, August 2016 earns a C, which is actually an upgrade from what I was feeling after the first review in the series. I'm surprised it was able to claw its way back up here, so that says something. A C fits the overall feeling that I was left with after playing through everything. It's alright, but I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed that it wasn't even slightly better. Presumably to soothe my tepid to moderate butthurt, Humble Bundle included 2 other titles whose worth I leave for you to decide. The first was Random Access Murder, who made its first debut in this bundle and went on to the Steam store afterward for $2.99. It's a highly stylized first-person shooter that takes place in Japan after the Neon Robot Uprising of 2018. You'll notice that it hasn't happened yet, so please be preparing. No, I'm just fucking with you. At least about that being part of the game. Seriously, be prepared. The other title is Disc Room, which is the humble original for the month developed for us by the people over at Killscreen. You are put in a room with an ever-growing amount of spinning blades that want to cut your dick off. And the rest of you, but the dick thing is the most terrifying scenario that I can think of. Your dick lives as long as you do, so keep yourself alive. So you think I'm being crude, but I'm pretty sure scientifically speaking that's the biological function of wanting to be alive in the first place. In other news, they should have called this one You Came, We Saw, You Died. Anyway, the prize for the August review and giveaway is one game of your choosing from the 6 core titles, or the Steam code for it anyway. All you have to do to enter is read the rules in the description, or since you probably aren't going to do that, you can answer this month's question in the comments down below. If duty called and left a message on your answering machine, what would it sound like? I wouldn't know myself, I only caught about 25% of the message. Must have been going through a tunnel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. If you enjoyed this or any of the videos for the month, be sure to share them with friends, because I could really use some help with visibility. I'd share them with my friends, but they haven't been online in years. Last thing they said to me was, "Don't ever speak to me again." Weird, right? How did they know that would happen? And as always, remember that failure is not the worst case scenario, so go on with your bad selves, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Stay awesome.